Hello goons and gals, it's Doug here with the Born a Goon channel, and I would like to thank you for stopping by today. I know your time is very valuable to you, and because you've chose to spend that time with me watching this video, I want to let you know I really appreciate that, so I'm going to make this one count. On that note, let me officially welcome you to today's video that is titled, The Most Anticipated Supermoto Bikes of 2023. There's a lot of supermotos out there. I mean a lot. And if I was to talk about every one of them, we would be here for about 6 lunar cycles. So to make this list effective and efficient, I would like to just focus today on the small handful of manufacturers that are producing pre-built supermotos for 2023. Bikes that you can just go down to your local dealership today, buy them, and immediately start wreaking havoc upon this world. And we're going to look at these in 4 different categories. We're going to look at budget street legal bikes, premium street legal bikes, race-built bikes, and a special section called scamotards, because we need to put an end to these manufacturers that consistently misuse the word motard in an attempt to skew the line between what a supermoto is and a hipster bike with fat tires. We'll start out by looking at some budget street legal supermotos. Now these are pre-built bikes with retail price tags of under 8,000 United States dollars. And I deeply apologize for using the word budget followed by the number $8,000 in the same sentence, but that's what this world has come to. And we actually have a new entry to this class with the Kawasaki KLX 230 SM that's based off the 230 Dual Sport series from Kawasaki. The KLX 230 SM produces about 20 horsepower, around 20 foot-pounds of torque, but it comes in at a very porky 298 pounds or 135 kilos. According to Kawasaki's marketing material, it seems like the KLX 230 SM is being promoted as more of a his and her city commuter that will allow you to combine your love of riding motorcycles with your love of random relationship jargon next to the backdrop of your favorite cityscape. The only thing that these photographs are missing from being any more non-threatening and soft is a poodle strapped to the back of one of these bikes. With a KLX 230's low horsepower numbers, its low seat height of 33 inches or 83 centimeters, and its very low price tag of roughly 5,300 United States dollars, it's obviously a bike that's targeted toward beginners. And that's not a bad thing, because it opens the door as an affordable entry point for newer riders to dip their toes into the purified waters of Lake Supermoto. And once they relish the warm, healing powers of those waters and ride that bike, I'm pretty sure their true Gooniganism will emerge, and they'll be done with those coffee crawls and relationship talks and be cast to a life of horn monos, stoppies, burnouts, and excessive traffic citations. But the KLX 230 isn't just for beginners, because fun and smiles can't always be measured in horsepower numbers. For the more experienced riders, while this may not be a 50-plus horsepower hooligan machine, I'm sure in the right hands this bike can wheelie, slide sideways, and create endless days of giggle. And with its cheap price tag and usable non-threatening power, even though it is a little heavy, with a few tweaks, this could be a great track bike for kids who want to get started in supermoto racing or need a cheap bike to hone their riding skills on, but yet it's still big enough for dad to occasionally turn a few laps on for fun. The main drawback of the KLX 230 SM, in my opinion, is the KLX 300 SM that sits right above it in Kawasaki's lineup. The KLX 300 SM is very close to the 230 in both weight and seat height, but it offers close to 10 horsepower more with a much improved suspension system and a host of other premium components at a cost of only 800 to 1,000 United States dollars more. While every dollar counts these days, that's a small price to pay for a much better motorcycle. And if it's being financed, that 1,000 United States dollars at 6% loan rate spread out over 5 years is just $19.33 a month more. So in my opinion, no doubt that the KLX 300 Supermoto is worth the difference in price. As you can tell with Kawasaki's marketing of the 300 SM, this bike is more aggressive. They actually have real supermoto shots of a rider backing it in on a racetrack. So Kawasaki is promoting the KLX 300 SM's extra hooliganness. Now I wouldn't let these track shots fool you though. If you want to hit a few track days with this bike, it should be fine. But if you want to engage in more competitive racing, this is probably not the best choice that you have. But in my opinion, this is the best budget all-around pre-built Supermoto to buy in 2023. It is very reliable, it's cheap to maintain and insure compared to other motorcycles, it has good usable I'm not gonna kill you for making a mistake power, it's a bike that you won't outgrow quickly, and you're getting a lot of motorcycle here for the money. And that's what makes it so special. I mean, you could buy 2 of these to 1 KTM. Also, you have the George Blanda of motorcycles with the DRZ 400 SM that will return for its umpteenth season as the most carefree, do-it-all, mythological creature motorcycle of all time. It's a great bike that carries around an iconic history along with some pretty impressive specs, like 39 horsepower, 39 foot-pounds of torque, and a 319-pound package. However, what was once a great value has become outdated and expensive, and I wouldn't buy a new one. Now you might ask, whoa, Goon, what's wrong with you? Why would you slander such an iconic motorcycle in a public video for the world to see? Do you have a death wish? Are you begging to be blacklisted from the motorcycling community for insulting the DRZ? Are you really that stupid? But hear me out. Suzuki is asking $7,800 for the DRZ, and that's a lot of money for this bike. Because Suzuki hasn't changed the DRZ in over 20 years, and the DRZ is iconic because it's so reliable and parts are so easy and cheap to come by, I wouldn't have a problem buying a 5 to 10-year-old DRZ with 10,000 miles on it for a lot less. So I would buy a DRZ, just not a new one. Now let's move on to some premium street-legal Supermotos. These are obviously top-dollar, high-tech bikes. And like I had said in my recent video, the most anticipated dual-sport motorcycles of 2023, European manufacturers and premium price tags go hand in hand. And when it comes to high-priced, finicky, attitude-driven motorcycles, there's no better place to start than with KTM and its sister brands Husqvarna and GasGas, with the KTM 690 SMR, the Husqvarna 701, and the GasGas 700. These models are basically the same bike masquerading under 3 different brand names. Not only are the 13,000 plus price tags of these bikes premium, but their slogans reek of I'm secure enough in my financial manhood that I'm willing to voluntarily spend a small fortune for a dirt bike. KTM bills the 690 as the Street Slayer. The Husqvarna 701 calls itself the essence of riding, and the GasGas 700, it's the red hot super single. I mean, try telling your wife you want a red hot super single for Christmas and see where that gets you. But I tell you what, I can't lie. Those names make me want to buy one even more, damn it. But you get what you pay for here, because the 690R, the 701, and the 700 are the quintessence, the paragon, the nonpareil, the apotheosis, the incomparable, and the baffo of supermotards. They are super fast, super light, super awesome, and if your pockets be deep and flush, this is the best street-legal supermoto that money can buy. Now let's take a look at the SWM SM500R. I put the SWM 500 in this category, but it could possibly fit into a few others. It's slightly over our budget category by retailing at $8,900 United States dollars. While that's a good price, it's just slightly above the threshold that we had set. SWM states on their website that it's for closed competition only, so it could be in the race category. But I don't really think SWM is trying to make us think that this is a race bike. But it comes with lights, mirrors, and a license plate holder on it, so it possibly could be street legal in some states. Anyway, let's talk about the bike. SWM claims to be an Italian company that is owned by a Chinese company that's using a design that was once made by a Swedish company that a while back sold itself to an Italian company that is now branded under an Austrian company that produces quality, affordable European motorcycles made with name brand components in their state-of-the-art facility. Okay, all kidding aside here, the SWM 500 packs a pretty good value here. It comes with a 500cc 4-stroke engine, electric start, electronic fuel injection, KYB front and rear suspension, and Brembo brake, and Brembo brakes. That's not bad. And if you look around, I've seen these sell for a lot lower than retail. So for the budget-conscious, value-oriented individual who works hard and saves hard, this could be your bike. So now let's talk a little bit about race-built supermotos, and let's begin with the KTM 450 SMR, which is also the Husqvarna FS 450. These are track-only race bikes. Now, I know most supermoto riders will never hit the racetrack, and that's okay. But if your intentions are pointed in that direction, take a look at these two bikes. Now, with these, I have a much different viewpoint when it comes to price. While the price tag on these is still very high at $11,500 or more, if you intend on racing or just doing a lot of track days, this is a good price to pay for a ready-to-race motorcycle. Because a standard dual sport that's converted into a race supermoto will easily cost you way more than that to build. So you can save yourself the money, time, and frustration by buying the KTM or Husky and then just driving straight from the dealership to the racetrack. Because these are not 50-state street legal, obviously the justification here is that you would have to spend a lot of time on the track to justify its limited use. But that's probably where you want to be riding this thing anyway, because it has a claimed 63 horsepower with 30 foot-pounds of torque and only a wet weight of 232 pounds. So you best be on your A game when you ride this bike. It has one purpose and one purpose only, and that is to haul the asses of 1,000 mighty lions. So if that is not your intent, this is not your bike. Another premium bike to take a look at comes from Italian manufacturer TM Racing. TMs are very hard to get. Almost all of them are pre-ordered and built for you, and that is what you are paying for. A very special bike that you will not see often. But TMs are not just Italian beauties. They are very capable motorcycles that have won several races in European Premier Class titles. So these are serious race machines. According to TM's website, you can have a supermoto built for you in the following displacements at the following price points. You have the SMX 300 at $10,500 United States dollars, the SMX 250 FIKS at almost $12,000 United States dollars, the SMX 450 FIKS at $12,245 United States dollars, and the SMX 530 FIKS at $12,245 as well. If you are looking for a one-of-a-kind premium bike with unmatchable fit and finish and built with only top-flight components, TM has got you covered. Another bike that's hard to categorize would be the Sherco. They make a series of 50cc supermotos, and they range anywhere from about $3,700 United States dollars upwards of $4,200 United States dollars. I put them in this category for a couple of reasons. One is because I didn't know where else to put them, and two, I really want to talk about this bike for a minute. Now, I'm uncertain of the difference between each one of these models, but it looks like Sherco is listing this as a moped on their website, and it can be used via the streets, like this kid here who's just enjoying a day at the water with his Sherco. And I have to say, if this kid is old enough to street ride, then I'm just getting too damn old, period. Now, these bikes come with a headlight and a taillight, so it must be possible to convert them to street legality with minimal effort. But a 50cc engine probably isn't a highway masterpiece. Even though Sherco is billing this as a moped, I don't think that it is. The Sherco has a wet weight of about 183 pounds or 83 kilograms with a 35-inch seat height. This is like a full-size bike with a 50cc engine. And this looks like it could be a great track bike for kids or smaller teenagers that are getting involved into the sport. It also looks like it would be one badass pit bike cul-de-sac weapon for the papas. I mean, you can't take the child out of us, can you? On Sherco's website, their slogan is "An emotion is born." You dang right it is. Because as I've been doing this video, I must have thought of at least 1,000 different Goon riding videos I could do with this bike on this channel. I mean, look how cool this thing is. I found this one with some knobbies on it. I mean, how radical is this bike? It just makes me want to buy one. I mean, I could easily buy this and tell my wife it's for our son, and then go to the sumo track and then tell my son to watch his dad run 6 tanks of fuel through the bike. I mean, what do you guys think? Should I buy this thing? No, I should just move on. This now brings us to our last category of today, which is scamatards. I shouldn't even waste the time of bringing these motorcycles up, but I must put an end to these shenanigans. Because a scamatard is a bike a manufacturer thinks they can throw some Supermoto tires on a 400-pound street bike, then call it a motard. It's as if they're trying to rewrite the narrative of what a Supermoto bike is. It's a very gray line, just like the one that's developed between a dual sport bike and an adventure bike. And the biggest violator of this sumo code is Ducati, with its hyper motard and its all-new urban motard. Now don't get me wrong, nobody makes a cool looking motorcycle like Ducati, and these are awesome bikes, and I know they're capable because when it came out we saw those cool promo shots of Ruben Zaus sliding this thing sideways, so there's no doubt it can get the business done. And I would know firsthand because I actually had a hyper motard once, and it was such a blast to ride that the only photographs I have of this bike are ones in wheelie format. So what does that tell you? It's like a 16.5 on the Goon Richter scale, so it's legit. But it's not a Supermoto. Because I have a Sumo now, and I can tell you that all the Hyper Motard is just an aggressive naked bike. And the Urban Motard just looks like a Harley dirt tracker, some scrambler on it with slicks. The same can be said for like the Aprilia Dorsoduro 900. While it is also a very nice looking bike, it's just too big and heavy to be a true motard and represent the culture that we've grown accustomed to, but that's just my opinion. Now, because I tried to do my very best to focus this list on bikes that were new and available in 2023 as new versions, I know I broke the hearts of sumo riders worldwide because I had to leave out some discontinued legendary pre-built Supermotos like the Husaberg FS 650, the KTM 640, the Aprilia SVX 550, and the Yamaha WR 250. But like I said, these are discontinued models, and you do take the risk of pre-ownership maintenance as not every rider treats their bikes kindly. But these could be an option for you if you can find the right bike at the right price. While there's still not a plethora of availability when it comes to pre-built Supermotos, at least we have a few choices in 2023. And there's a lot of manufacturers that haven't given up on these bikes completely, and we need to be thankful for that. But the biggest question that every rider would have to ask themselves in this segment is it better to buy a pre-built Supermoto or build one from an existing dirt bike or dual sport chassis? There's a lot of positive and negatives with both. It can be a very emotionally gratifying experience to build your own masterpiece with your personal touch, something that belongs to you and you only. Building a Supermoto off of an existing dirt bike or dual sport platform can give you the option to switch back and forth between your dirt bike and street bike, as I do with my Honda CRF 450 RL. But it's not cheap, and switching back and forth isn't necessarily convenient, whereas buying one all done up can save you time, money, and migraines. Anyway, goons and gals, that's going to do it for my list today. I would like to thank you for sticking around this long. I'm sure I left a couple of things out, as I always do, and that's why we have the comments section. So I would love to hear your opinion on what your favorite bikes are for 2023. I would like to hear your stories about Supermoto bikes that you have built, what you got sitting in your garage, what are you looking forward to owning here in the near future. And on that note, I must say goodbye, because I have said enough.